You can catch me every day, trying to get my, lighting up that, just trying to get my, time is just ticking, so I'm making sure my time right, just wanna be, don't give a damn about no limelight, cause that's what I'm on, 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 cause that's what I'm on.
Peace, love, and light, guys. I am your host, Deniro Ali, and this is the Deniro Experience. Reporting live from Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia residents will soon be able to carry a concealed handgun thanks to the new law signed by Governor Brian Kemp, which now allows law-abiding citizens to carry a concealed handgun in public without a license. Governor Brian Kemp stated, "I appreciate the House and Senate for their hard work to get constitutional carry over the finish line. Law-abiding Georgians deserve to ensure they can protect themselves and their families, and this legislation strengthens that God-given right." In other news, a Confederate approval for a Memorial Day event, which was to return to Stone Mountain Park next month, has gained opposition from activists, including a local chapter of the NAACP. Last year, the Sons of the Confederate Veterans received approval after being denied last year due to the possibility of a, quote, "a clear and present danger to public health or safety." Lance Hammonds, president of the NAACP in DeKalb County, was stated saying, "The permit issued to the SOCV continues the perpetuation of racial terror in America and should be revoked. We believe that Stone Mountain Park will never be a symbol of unity in Georgia until the Stone Mountain Memorial Association is prepared to tell the whole truth about the Civil War." The Atlanta Journal-Constitution previously confirmed that the permit application was submitted by Richard K. Strand, a SCV rep who is running for a seat in the Georgia Senate. He was also named a plaintiff in a 2021 lawsuit that sought and failed to re-erect a Confederate monument that had been removed from the downtown Decatur Square. In tech news, Cash App breached impacts over 8 million users. Block disclosed today that a security breach involving a former employee impacts 8.2 million. In an SEC filing, the company reported December 10th an ex-employee downloaded a number of reports with information on customer information. The data include full names, brokerage portfolio value, brokerage account numbers, and reports of stock trading activity. According to the filing, only customers that use Cash App stocks functions are potentially included in the breach. No other Cash App features outside of stocks were involved in the breach, nor did it include any customers outside of the U.S. According to the company, the report did not include usernames or passwords, social security numbers, date of birth, payment card info, addresses, bank account info, or any other personal identifiable information, nor any security code, access code, or password used to access Cash App accounts. Block has launched a federal investigation into the incident involved in the breach by email. According to the filing, the ex-employee once had access to the customer information as an employee at Cash App, but by the time the breach occurred, they had already been gone from the company for several months. In entertainment news, Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Oscars. In a public apology issued to Rock, Smith addressed violence in all forms as poisonous and destructive. "My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress. Sincerely, Will. Academy Awards is awaiting a decision on how to handle this matter. Update news. The Academy Award decided to ban Will Smith for his debacle at the Oscars with Chris Rock. So let's get into the show. If you guys are tuned in right now, I am your gracious host, Deniro Ali, and this is the Deniro Experience, where we be bringing you creative content all across the globe. So let's get into tonight's topics. Kevin Samuels, Modern Women, and the rise of the high-value man. So Kevin Samuels is an image consultant who has publicly went viral all across the globe from his content on YouTube and Instagram. Kevin Samuels has an image consultant background, and he is famous for ranking women and the high value phase. But let's get into this. Kevin Samuels did not create the high value terminology. High value terminology was created by modern day women to basically fish out an elect group of men that they would like to be in relationships with and or marry. Kevin Samuels has gotten a lot of scrutiny because he basically tells it how it is. You know, he is the male version of a Oprah Winfrey, a Yana Vazant, Sister Soldier, or maybe even a Wendy Williams if you into that kind of satire. So what is the whole thing about Kevin Samuels? Is he 100% wrong? Or maybe he's just doing something that is kind of really bringing to the conversation. See, as someone who understands his type of content, maybe it could come off as it is harsh or it's something that, you know, you may not pertain to, or something that, you know, just doesn't really captivate you. But is he 100% wrong? I mean, if you have eyes and you can sit here and you can look at the kind of society that we have pretty much at this point, you will be able to see that the things that he talks about are the things that we all talk about in our day-to-day lives. There's nothing wrong with anyone saying that they want this or that they want that, but the reality about it is, are you able to get it? Is it attainable? And when should we be realistic about our efforts and our outcomes? The whole coin term of high value man comes from men who make six figures or more, or men who are of high value and use to the women that claim they want them. So let's get into it. Is Kevin Samuels bad for the culture, or is he just bringing something maybe new, bringing maybe a playing field, an equal playing field of balance to the years and years and years and years of unbalance? As I stated, what my personal thoughts were, I may not agree 100% with everything that is being said or everything that has been said, but one thing that is obvious is 1 out of 4 black women will get married in a lifetime. Currently, right now, majority of black women, let's be fair to say, let's say maybe a few portion does not want to date or does not want to be married to a black man or any man. So then, doesn't that make the reality something more realistic to the terms of, if 1 out of 4 black women will get married in a lifetime, maybe these factors are due to the fact that majority of women may not want to get married. most women may have been married and just realized that it's not for them at this particular time, and they pursue other means of satisfaction. So I believe that if Kevin Samuels is bad for the culture, then so is everything else that is not productive or does not bring value to the conversation. Without the ranking, without this, without that, the reality is the people that say that they want these outcomes, if they're not willing to do the work, then the things that they want are not obtainable either way. So then the reality would be, with everybody is saying collectively that they want, sounds good to the ear. But maybe it's not possible because of these many different factors that could be based on the individual. So I would like us to revisit this whole notion of canceling people and not wanting to hear what people have to say, because everything is equal for the conversation if it's going to bring awareness and if it's going to bring solution-based outcomes. So that's the take on my outlook of the Kevin Samuels, modern women, and the rise of the high-value man. So the emasculation of the black alpha image in media. With the recent things going on with Will Smith and, you know, the uproar with what Cam Newton recently said on his interview with Gilly the Kid and Wallow. It's a lot of things going on in the world right now, and I'm raised to ask the question, with the emasculation of the black man in America, is there hope for the black man? And is there a reason all of these things are happening to the black community, and rather is it conspiracy? We're not going to get too far deep or go back in time or anything. The reality is, it seems that whenever intelligently a black man has an output, or he wants to say how he feels, he's being attacked from the far left or the mainstream media or anybody who doesn't fit the criteria of what is being said. See, I believe here on the Deniro experience about balance. If we're really equal and we really believe ourselves to be on, wanting to be on the equal playing field, shouldn't everybody be held in the same manner or in the same likeliness of the way that everyone else is being scrutinized? There is nothing wrong with anybody saying, this is what they want, this is what they want. If men are saying that this is what they want and women have a problem with it, then it could be problematic, considering what does anybody wanting this have anything to do with anybody else? When we all want things, when we all can acquire things, when our mind and the things that we fixate are depending on what we pursue and what we choose to go after. But this whole thing of trying to silence black men who have a voice, who really are trying to bring dialogue to the conversation, is kind of appalling. Because the same acceptance that we are willing to give to anybody else, we should be willing to give to everybody, and let everyone have an opinion, and let us feel how we feel. We're entitled to our feelings and our emotions, but feelings aren't facts here at the Deniro experience. Facts are facts. So the whole emasculation of the black man, in particular of Will Smith, right now his character is being questioned because society is saying he should not have smacked Chris Rock. And here on the Deniro experience, let me be personally clear that We do not condone violence of any sorts. That is not the way that gentlemen are supposed to handle their disputes. However, Will Smith was a target and a meme for years and years and years. So to play devil's advocate, there's the scenario of someone who has been dealing with pressure for the most part of his career, someone who has been compared to other people, someone who has questioned himself and his position, has been a joke and ridiculed for years in the media. Now he decides to react, which was emotional, and he decides to do something. Now he's being penalized. But see, now the same people who saying, I want this select people to protect me, they also say, ha, you was wrong. So when does the conversation become, if we didn't emasculate our men, they wouldn't have to feel the need to react and retort to violence in the first place? Where was Will's protection at during the times that he was a meme on social media? You know, people was laughing. A lot of people were women too. So I could play the sides of Chris Rock being someone who has publicly announced that he has been bullied and he has, felt publicly ridiculed, especially in recent news with the Chris Rock with the Will Smith situation. But here is two black men who felt emasculated their whole lives in a situation that was used to further point out the emasculation of the black men, even sometimes by our own women. Now, it was all shits and giggles. The joke, everybody was laughing until Jada gave Will that look like, what you laughing? You laughing? What you got the nerve to be laughing for? And we don't know what conversation or what happened before this scenario happened that could have probably prompted him to feel that that was the right course of action. Because this probably wasn't sporadic. Mind you, he gets on the internet, I'm pretty sure he sees the memes and the jokes every day. This is his alpha moment. Though it wasn't the right course of action to pursue, this was his moment to show the world, y'all not gonna be laughing at me no more. That whole situation went left. Now he's banned 10 years from the Oscars. His public image is forever stained, because now it's like, that was Fresh Prince. That was Muhammad Ali. Now it's, hey, that's that guy that smacked Chris Rock. That's what we know him for, unfortunately. This is why here on the Deniro Experience, we are trying to control the narrative of the male black image. Many of us wasn't learned properly to deal with our emotions. So we react to violence, or we react emotionally in ways that are kind of detrimental to our being. The emasculation of the black man is programmed, and we see it every day. taking back our image is a way to control the narrative. Understanding we don't have to agree all the time, but this is a way to do things. And there's a way that ultimately, if we go that course of action, we jeopardize things that are beneficial for our success. So the emasculation of the black man is an emotional emasculation as well. Taking everything that a black man sees in himself and projecting that as a level of weakness, because it's like, why did he have to apologize if he felt what he did was right? I don't know. That's just my opinion. Moving on. So I would like to talk about deceptive intelligence versus divine intelligence. Many people believe deceptive intelligence and divine intelligence is one and the same. You know how you hear people say, my heart told me to do something. Your heart can also deceive you. You know how they tell you follow your heart? Your heart can also deceive you. What's deceptive is understanding that if your brain is the thing that contains all the knowledge, your brain is the thing that is the outsource to creativity, is the main function that allows you to think. Why would you base your decisions on how you feel? Rather to more likely base your decisions on how you think. That is deceptive intelligence. Many of the decisions we make is based on how we feel, not how we think. Whether through relationships, whether through opportunities. Paying attention to the gut would be more suitable than paying attention to the heart, because the gut determines ultimately the good and bad of if you feel good about something or if you feel bad about something. Divine intelligence would be knowing that from here on out, everything you do in life or everything you have done in the past, you could correct the course of action by moving accordingly and not doing the things that you've deemed negative or something that brought you to a lower level. Now you can elevate. Now everything you do now is a learning experience from learning what you have done and knowing that you don't want to do that again. That's divine intelligence. Deceptive intelligence is when we continuously do things that we know are wrong and then we say, I didn't know. The only person that can say they don't know is a child, an infant. Once you get to a level of understanding, and once you're saying you're an adult, you're grown, or any of these adjectives, now, any of these nouns, you're saying any of these characteristic traits of yourself, now you're somebody who has to prove in the course of actions. Or what you're doing divine, or what you're doing deceptive. Developing your purpose. Life is all about purpose. We all here for a reason. We all here for something significant, whether we see it or we don't. And many of us are able to see it based off getting to know ourselves. when you was a kid, a lot of y'all, a lot of us, we used to draw, paint, style different things, cook certain things. These are your God-given abilities that sometimes you discard to be an adult. You grow up, it's almost like Peter Pan. You grow up and you learn, you forget how to fly. The things you're good at naturally, you discard that to learn things that you're not good at, that you never apply to anything, just to only say you have it. But the notion of what's good is better to have something and not need it than to need it and not have it. But the things that we need are the things that we naturally good at. Creativity. Say you want to do a podcast. If you like to talk, then it makes sense. If you're somebody that don't have no dialogue, you don't know how to conduct any form of information, then what good is coming up with a podcast? What good is pursuing modeling if you're not into makeup, if you're not into fashion? What good is pursuing music if you don't like to write music, if you don't know how to play an instrument? What good is pursuing something when you don't have any passion with what you're trying to do? Therefore, you can't develop what that purpose is that you're trying to do because you're just doing it. Once you develop your purpose, then you're able to know that now you're not just doing anything no more. Now it's starting to make sense. It's natural. Corona taught us one thing. It taught us that when life gives you lemons, you're going to make that lemonade. Probably going to make it better than Kool-Aid. Sometimes, traditionally, this ain't regular lemonade. This is I gotta be creative now. So now you have so many people pursuing their natural gifts. Doing their makeup, doing makeup tutorials, doing their podcasts, anything that can further their goals to get them closer to their ambitions. That's what we're about on the Deniro Experience. Seeing everyone utilize their natural gifts in order to be successful. Because clearly school wasn't the only lane that you had to go to be successful. Back when a lot of us was coming up, that really was the true outcome. You had to go to school or the military just to be successful. Now, it's like a snap of a finger. Anything that you're doing, if you really want to do it, you can pursue it. So it's all about purpose, finding your purpose, utilizing that discipline that you need in order to keep maintaining and keep every day working on your purpose, because it's a never-ending cycle. You're constantly working. You never stop working. You're working so hard until it's like work is almost natural to you. Work is like hanging out with your friends. Work is like going out chasing those girls or chasing those guys or whatever it is. Defining your purpose is knowing that you're in the moment. Your mind is clear, your heart is pure, your gut is just something unwavering. It's nothing that's gonna stop. You know what you gotta do. By all means, if you don't have the resources, sometimes that kind of procrastinate a lot of us, because we could say we want to do things, but in reality, if we don't have the tools to maximize the things that we want to do, we won't be able to do it. But I'm talking to those people that have the tools, utilizing your natural gifts in order to obtain the things in life that you want, because they're right there. They're right there. Everybody watching right now, they'll know what I'm talking about, because that's the true level of manifestation. Manifestation is thinking it, seeing it, visualizing it. Can't nobody take it from you. It's yours. But also knowing that you have to do the work. The work is work on self, clearing your mind, your spirit, getting away from all the distractions that plague us in our day-to-day lives. A lot of these things does not matter once you realize what your purpose is. Now, instead of maybe majority of your time you was going to the club or you were hanging out, instead of doing that, you're doing your work. What's more fun than doing what your purpose is and then reaping the rewards down the line? Because when it's all said and done, when you get to that point of where you want to be, people will look and they say, hey, how did you get there? How did you get there? You didn't see me? See, when you was out there and you was wasting your time, I was working. When you was sitting here being distracted by whatever was going on in the world, I was working. And you have to understand that's a level of discipline that you have to incorporate if you want to be successful. You have to know how to cut everything off that's not going to make no significant difference to your well-being. Life is about securing your success and securing what God has for you. And sometimes what God has for you is not for everybody else. So therefore you can't be around people. You have to be still. That is your moment to realize within your isolated moments. Corona was your isolated moments. I can't do the things I used to do. I don't have the job. I don't have the persons. I don't have what I used to have. But you did have something. You had a gut feeling of telling you that, damn, I might not have a lot of things. But something telling me right now, keep pursuing my goals, and I'm going to keep pursuing this. Now you have all type of success going on every day. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you will all reach the levels of success just like everyone else that had came before you. If you just stop and you listen and you dedicate yourself to your next few months, whether it's 6 months, 8 months, or however months you need, maybe it's a year, to get yourself to your higher purpose and following the pursuits of life that God has for you. So that's developing your purpose. Dressing the part for success. The importance of a good public image. Okay, so here on the Deniro Experience, you know, I am a lover of suits. I believe that is a way for me to show my level of success. That's my level of profession. Not saying you have to wear a suit makes you successful, but it's a public image. If you look at any movie you watch, when you see these guys, regardless of whatever culture, color they seem to be, the successful ones, they're always in a suit. It's almost like it's synonymous with being a broker or, you know, that guy on Wall Street or anything like that. And guys in different lanes of success that you see wearing suits, they all come from all different walks of life. But the main thing is how they wear their suits, how they look wearing their suits, what we think from seeing them wear their suits. That is all about public image. A good public image will get you further through the doors than anything else. I use myself as an example. Every time that I wear suits, I have no issues with nobody. It's almost like I'm a lawyer, like I'm Johnny Cochran or something. You understand what I'm saying? And maybe wearing a suit is not good for you. Maybe you just don't feel comfortable wearing a suit. Maybe it's not your thing. But when you get a certain age and you get a certain caliber of success and you get to a certain prestige, you want to start looking different. You wear a suit, you get different results. I would recommend trying it. If you can, if you do feel comfortable, put on a nice layered suit. It's a nice lapel suit. Get a fitted suit. Don't be wearing your dad's suit, you know, and go out on a date. Go out in public and see how people perceive you then, and maybe see if that's something that you would like to pursue later down the line. But a good public image would put you further to success than anything else in the world. So try that. Remember that. Good public image. Is keeping it real elevating or hindering those, i.e. black folks, who aim to reach success? What is being real? Being real is being real with yourself. Being real is representing whatever it is that you feel is a true representation of self. Being real is pursuing your education. Being real is pursuing your career. Being real is pursuing your talent. Being real is any of those things that don't have nothing to do with committing crimes, presenting yourself a certain type of way that is a cliche, or presenting yourself in any type of way that could possibly bring harm to you or your loved ones. I hear so many people say, oh, I ain't never gonna leave the hood, I'm never gonna do this, I'm never gonna do that. That's fine if you believe that. But see, one day I believe that you're gonna wake up and you're gonna get to a certain level of thought in your mind. Maybe it's after you seeing, whatever's going on in the world, and you will realize why there's a need to kind of separate yourself from how you think you grew up. We all grow up in different environments, some harsher than others. But those things don't make us. Oftentimes, we allow those things to often overshadow the good qualities about ourselves. It's like we always want people to know how good we are once somebody gets shot or somebody go to prison. But my whole thing is you can be a good person in the hood. You could have good qualities. You could care about people and get busy or whatever that is. Stand 10 toes down. Stand on your square without being a square. It's oftentimes people only want you to be one way, and we got to start acting like we don't all have different personalities, like we all don't have different qualities and characteristics that make a person. As myself, I'm funny, I'm edgy, I'm intelligent, and I mix all of those things up to be one person. But I'm not one trick pony. I can be in a room with guys from the hood. I could be in a room with people in the corporate boardrooms. I could be in a room with those educated folks, those people who have degrees, those blue-collared folks. Whatever the room is, whatever I need to be, I'm like a chameleon. I can blend. And learning how to blend is more important than just being one way anyway. We're not monolithic. There's not one monolithic thought. There's not one monolithic anything. Being universal is the way to connect with people. See, when I meet people and I'm saying how I used to be or this, that, and the fourth, it's not to glorify. It's only to show people what progression looks like. This is what I created this platform, what I created this broadcast for, rather, is because I wanted to show people that you can be all of these things. But in life, you have to elevate and you have to grow up and you have to mature once you make it to adulthood. See, I can't be an almost 40-year-old man doing the things that I should have been giving up when I was young. Those are things that, granted, they're there when many of us from our outcome and our environment, we learn those things. But those are not the things that make you a man. These are the things that hinder you from being a man and hinder you from your overall evolution. Life is about evolving. Life is about growing. Learning that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a saint. It's about being who you need to be, which is a person who's going to make mistakes, a person who's not going to have all the answers. Life is a series of steps. You fall so you can learn to get yourself back up. But ain't nobody fell from heaven. We all work in progress. That's what keeping it real is all about. Being a work in progress. And I'm willing and I'm able to reach masses of people that I reach because I keep a balance. I'm here to connect all types of people. I am not my past, and neither are you. But if you want to be something else, you have to do the work. It's not going to happen overnight. The whole part of growing older is about maturing and knowing from your younger ways so you don't repeat those when you get older. You shouldn't be an older person still doing the things you were doing when you were younger. That's going backwards. You're supposed to go forward. You can't go backwards. You're only going to go forward. So keeping it real is knowing you're going to have some of your homeboys that still want to be in the hood. They still want to. The hood is a mentality. The hood is you want to do things that they redundant. They don't relate to anything significant. Just wanting to hang out. Just wanting to, just do things that you should have put away. The Bible says when you become a man, you put those things away. When you was a child, you do childish things, but now that you become a man, you put those childish things away. Some of us are too damn old to be doing the things that we still want to do. But I digress from the point. You're still going to have people who are still going to want to do the things that you don't want to do no more. And that's fine. But you have to make a decision in your life to say, what do you want for yourself? The things about life is about self-preservation. We do the things that protect us. We do the things that make us feel most comfortable, what's best in our interests. We're people that do things based off interests, what we get from it. So what I would recommend is when you find yourself around these scenarios, maybe you have a friend, maybe you have allies, maybe you have people that you used to associate with that want to do these things that you no longer want to do, you make a choice. You know what leads to the things that you've done before. You're trying to get the outcomes of the things you haven't received yet. So in order for you to receive these things, you're going to have to make a sacrifice. You're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to say, yo, I can't hang out with you no more. I'm going to have to do something different. Or this is what my life is consistent of now. People make their own choices every day. Your job is to make your choices. And what's real is knowing that one day you're going to evolve from the person that you are. The people that surround you, they're not gonna make sense anymore. Your heart is gonna grow weary for the things that entice you to do better, that entices you to worry about things that are gonna impact the world, and stop being more of a selfish person, but more of a person that's selfless. Keeping it real is keeping it true. And that's what we do on the Deniro experience. Moving on. Sacrificing for something greater. Life is going to require you to make a sacrifice. You want that body that you want, you're going to have to either work out, maybe you're going to have to put the funds together to buy that body that you want. But it's going to come with something, giving something to get something. And sometimes there has to be a negative outlook. Sacrifice should be looked at as something good. Meaning, it's a level of discipline that you are willing to show within oneself in order to obtain something that you really truly want. People say, oh, I want to be a rapper. I want to be a musician. I want to be an artist. I want to be a painter. The thing that sparks it is knowing what you're going to eventually have to do in order to get to the next levels. You're going to have to maybe go get a job to fund your career, to buy your equipment. You're going to maybe have to give up going out every weekend with your homies or your homegirls or whatever it is to focus on your pursuits. Sacrifice is a level of discipline. it's a level of discipline that everyone has to reach in order to reach the highest levels of success. I kid you not. There's things that I be wanting to do a lot of times, but it's the discipline and the sacrifice that says, nah, you want this, so you're going to have to do this. I can't tell you not one person that ever gained any outcome from not having to give up something. Sacrifice is much needed because it brings a balance to the equation. Why would you want to gain anything without giving something up for it? That's what will make you appreciate it more. Knowing that hard work, that belief, that undying faith that you had in yourself was something that was so realistic in your mind that no matter what, nothing was going to stop that. You pursued it. No matter if you lost your job. Many people during this COVID situation lost their ability to feed their family. But it also created a means for them to think about it like, hey man, this is just a job. This is not what God has for me. It's not what God has for me. It was hurtful for a lot of people at first because I get it. Many of us have to pay our bills. Many of us have to do what we have to do to make the bare minimum happen. But it was almost like Corona was the restart. A lot of people were able to get PPP loans, insurance money, all access to all type of money that they never were able to see before. And the amazing thing was all of these success stories that came out of that. People opening up businesses for the first time. People getting married for the first time. People becoming content creators for the first time. These are the new wave. These are the new breadwinners. These are the new gatekeepers of society. The content creators, the YouTubers, the musicians, the OnlyFans, all of these things. People are able to feed their family and make sourceable outcomes and good financial gain based on their ability to be disciplined enough to be someone who was able to sacrifice and say, hey, maybe I have to adapt with the times. Meaning that it's not going to go back to how it was, so I have to adapt. I have to make a sacrifice. I know I don't really want to work this job, but I'm going to work this job part-time and I'm going to work on my content full-time. I'm going to do whatever it is I need to do. I'm going to work, I'm going to jog to gain that body that I need so I could be able to make my content. I'm going to be able to do whatever it is that I need to do in order to gain the success of the things that I say that I want in my day-to-day life. You seeing it happening. You are alive and well to see it happen in the best generation ever. All you have to do is make the sacrifice. All you have to do is stop procrastinating. I too was a procrastinator. One thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to say that I'm not guilty of the things that I am preaching about on this program. I'm responsible. But it was that discipline and that sacrifice within myself that said, hey man, do what you got to do while you have the time, because you're never going to have the time. You're never going to have an infinite amount of time to do the things that you want to do. The kids are going to be in the way. The relationships are going to be in the way. The job are going to be in the way. Different factors are going to be in the way. It's called learning how to budget yourself for the things that you want. Sometimes you might have to learn how to multitask in order to get things done. I'm a good fan of the multitasker. You only get 24 hours in a day, so you have to calculate how you spend your time. You're not gonna get no extra amount of time. There's no such thing as, oh, can I get an extra amount of time? Can I go to sleep 10 hours and think maybe I'll push the clock back? No, that's only in the movies. This is real life. It's going to require sacrifice. A great body is not going to fall out of the sky. Money is not going to fall out of a tree. The things you need is right here. Everyone has access to technology. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has something that they can bring to the conversation, and a natural gift that they can bring that is different and unique in their own way. But we have to learn how to get out of our own way, people. We have to learn how to stop being an issue to our own selves. Stop self-sabotaging our creative goals. Stop getting in the way. Stop fear-mongering. Stop being so scared to, if I take a risk, maybe it won't go this, maybe it won't go that. Well, you don't know if you won't try. And anything that you've never done, you don't know if you can do it until you do it. Because here on the Deniro Experience, we don't say can't. We say I will. We don't say why. We say thank you. And we pursue, and we pursue, and we pursue until we knock those doors down. Because the closest thing about getting closer to success is first you're at the steps, then the next you're at the doors. Then the next minute, right before you're about to kick it in, or you're thinking, oh, I need to force my way in, doors open up. That's what the level of sacrifice is going to require for you to do in order for those doors to open up. It's going to require you to separate yourself in times and separate the things that you say you want and the things that you think you need from what's most important. What's more important is a life of abundance. Everybody don't want to be rich. It's not about everybody making six figures or being rich or any of those things. It's about creating a life that you've never had for yourself to make things easier for you. Because money is nothing but a tool to get the things that you want in life and to create the different opportunities and outcomes for your way to reach your success. So without further ado, I am your host, Deniro Ali, and this is the Deniro Experience. Credits. This series is dedicated to the memory of my late mother, Shavon, Chev Bowens. I would like to thank God Allah for giving me the creative geniuses to be able to perform this, to bring this live to you guys. I would like to thank my lovely lady for giving me the inspiration and being down with me during dark times. Credits, music, and performed by no other than Sean Deniro Bowens. That's me. Good night, good day, and remember, be the greatest version of yourself that you can be. I am your host, Deniro Ali, and this is the Deniro Experience. You know.
That's what I'm on, Deniro. You can catch me every day, trying to get my, lighting up that. Just trying to get my right. Time is just ticking, so I'm making sure my time right. Just wanna be rich, don't get